Hello, my name is Joseph Falcone, and welcome to Unleash the Dog Trainer Within. Anybody, everybody can teach, train. Sorry about that, there was a technical connection issue. There is no dog that's untrainable, unteachable. And there's no one who can't train or teach a dog. There are things to consider. A dog is like a child. That's the first place to start. Oh, let me give you this. Let me change this around. There we go. I'll put that up on the screen for a few minutes. So, as I was saying, a dog is like a child. It's very similar. You want to work with love and affection and praise. Once in a while, you may have to get firm. Never abusive. You have to consider each individual dog's ability. As I'm sure we all know, dogs vary by breed, and each breed has its own traits and individualities. And then within that breed, each individual dog will have its own particular quirks. Okay, I'm going to bring me back into the picture here. All right. And I'll show that again at the end, so that everybody could see it or give me a holler. All right, so let me start with the fact that there are no... Okay, I have a question already. Star Lawson. Well, how do you get your dog to stop nipping when you have to leave? Okay, so I would start leaving a little bit earlier than you really need to do. When the dog starts nipping, pick him up, take him to another place in the house, and leave him in there. See if he'll stay there. He should know the word no or stop. Now, I was just about to get to the basic commands. All dogs, there are certain basic commands all dogs should know, which is no or stop, and I'm going to come back to that. So I'm going to go on from where I was at, Star, and we'll get back to your question as we get further down. So, like I was saying, there are no bad breeds. There's only people who have bred dogs that aren't balanced, that haven't been, how do I put this correctly? That have been mistreated and thereby are unbalanced. Many of those dogs can be saved, rescued, retaught. So, as I was saying, different breeds and different types will train differently, even within the breed. The three basic ways of training are praise and affection, which is my preference. There's clicker training and treats. I like praise and affection because you always have your praise, your affection, your love. You may not always have the clicker, and you definitely may not always have the treats. I don't like treats because if you train with treats, what happens when you give the dog a command and you don't have a treat, the dog will think he's done something wrong. It'll be confusing. I also train with voice command, whistle commands, and hand commands. The whistle commands are minimal, just one or two. It's for if the dog is far away from you, such as at a dog park, and you need to get your dog back to you. That's the basic need for a whistle command. But voice and hand, I always do them together, unless I want to use the hand command separately if I'm in a place where I need to be quieter and just need the dog to follow the command without me speaking. There's a difference between tricks and training. Tricks are great. Dogs enjoy them if they're done well, taught well, because the dog likes to have a job. Dogs are, as we know, dogs are social animals. They're part of a pack, and this is important. This comes to your training. They are part of your pack. You are not part of their pack. You are the alpha. You can be the alpha with love and respect and affection. You don't have to be hard, but you do have to be the alpha. So they are in your pack, not the other way around. But teaching dogs tricks is great. They enjoy it. It gives them a job. It makes them feel good. But training is important commands. Now, there's a number of different kinds of dogs. I'm not referring just to breeds here. For example, there is what we would call a primitive group of dogs. These are wonderful, beautiful animals. And when I say primitive, there's nothing negative intended by that. It simply means they're closer to the wild, closer to the wolf. Because most of the curly tail breeds, the Huskies, the Malamutes, they tend to be more independent. Yes, they learn. They're very smart. Matter of fact, the smartest dogs are the ones that you have to train the hardest and work the most diligently with. Oh, I have a rat terrier that I walk every day for the past year. She is 4 years old. She is a rescue. She often attacks any dog that comes close to me. I am not her owner. How can I stop her from doing that? Okay, so she probably was either not well socialized or she lost her socialization prior to you rescuing her. She has to be re-socialized. And I will come back to that a little bit further down in the show. All right, so as I was saying, the primitive breeds, which are beautiful, wonderful breeds, I love them dearly, but they are independent. You have to keep a closer watch on them. They don't listen often as quickly or as easily. They also have a tendency to want to run because that's their nature, to run through the woods. They dig a lot. But, I do love them. Then you have, I'll use some of the AKC groups, the working group, the herding group. These are dogs that have been bred to do certain jobs. And over time, this has become ingrained in their nature. They need to do these jobs. If they don't have a job to do, they're going to be unhappy. They don't have to do the job that they were bred to do. For example, if you have a herding dog, you don't have to have it herd anything. But it does need a job. Okay, let's see, we have another question here. My Malinois has a very high prey drive. Yes, they do. They are amazing dogs, the Belgians and the Malinois. They are wonderful. By the way, excuse me, folks. I had a stroke about a year ago. Sometimes I have trouble with some words. So I hope you understand. I apologize in advance. So, yes, they do have a great high prey drive. They are also very independent dogs, but they are super intelligent. Kills all types of small animals. Was very possessive over me. Wants me home protection training. Smart. Yeah, they are amongst the smartest dogs right now laying at my feet. No, we won't even look at it anymore. Okay. So, Taylor, is he working well now? Is he still having the high prey drive? And is he working well with you now? Between now and Taylor answering that, I'll go on with what I was saying about the different types of dogs. Or maybe not for a moment. I'm having a technical issue on my end here for a second. Excuse me for a moment. I'm having a technical issue over here for some reason. Okay, I'll just wing it off. I had talking points set out. Here we go. He still does, but he knows his commands. And yes, that's exactly right. The dog should always look to you to make a decision. As I said in the beginning, you are the alpha. The dog should always have his eye on you, unless he is. Okay, we had a quick break in the connection there. Yeah, unless he's playing with other dogs by your allowance or permission, the dog should always be watching you when you're walking, when you're just hanging out in the yard, whatever it is. He should have some level of attention on you and follow what you want. Prey drive is a harder thing to deal with. It takes a lot of work. You can do it, and I'll come back to that in a future episode. But it's much more detailed. In this episode, this first episode, I want to touch on the basics, the most basic, simple information, so people who join us in future episodes can come back and come to this general information. Okay, so never train your dog past his stamina to learn. When I work with dogs, some dogs I can work with for an hour, some dogs 15 minutes. And I don't always know on arrival which it's going to be. So you assess that directly with your dog. There's no point pushing him past his own limits, because all you're going to do is frustrate yourself and him. This isn't giving in. You have to know the difference between giving in to a dog being unwilling to follow your commands and he's just tired and has to stop for a while. All right, so we mentioned socialization when we were speaking about Valena's Rat Terrier. Socialization is very important. Well, I see a lot of hearts and up fingers. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate that very much. Socialization is the most important thing that you can teach your dog. And different breeds need socialization more because of instincts bred into them. For example, I once rescued a couple of Fila Brasilianos. I said that poorly. It's the police dog of Brazil. They look very much like a bulldog and a mastiff mix, which both of those are in there along with other breeds. This dog has a natural okay, and we're back again. So there's a difference between the difference being deaf. Can some people tell me if you're hearing me? Somebody's saying deaf, so I'm not sure if they're not hearing me. Well, I'll go on and see if any of you if anyone can let me know that you are hearing me. So guard is simply to stand between, to be alert. Ah, there we go. Thank you, Taylor. To be alert. Attack is something else. Attack is to defend aggressively, including biting. This should be left, attack should be left only to security and police. Thank you, Chris. Yes, Chris can hear me. Guard is the better command if you need this in a home situation. Most people are going to back off from a guard that's in a dog that's in a guard situation. So I was saying the Fila Brasilianos have a natural instinct to guard. If you walk up to a dog owner who has a Fila, that Fila is going to immediately get between you and the owner. If you get too close too fast, the Fila is going to knock you down and stand on you. That's literally what their instinct was. They were trained back in the 1800s to chase down slaves, and the slave owners did not want their slaves to be harmed because the slave couldn't work. By the way, I'm not into slavery. I'm totally against it. But this is the history. I can't help that. So these dogs were bred to knock down and hold a person in place. So the Russian Caucasian also has this natural guard built in. Malinois have it to a lesser degree. Okay, we're back again. For all breeds, but more for certain breeds than others. For example, a collie is pretty much naturally socialized to start with unless there's been a problem. Other breeds like the Rottweiler, and by the way, like I said, there are no bad breeds, but there are breeds with certain instincts because this is what they were bred for. Pit bulls, for example, have a terrible rap. In California, I'm living in Las Vegas, but when I was in California, I was part of a pit bull rescue. We called them kiss bulls. A good pit bull is a loving, phenomenal dog, will never hurt a human being. They can be dog aggressive because they were bred to that. I do not support dog fighting at all. Matter of fact, the best dog I ever had, I took out of a fighting pit that I came across and, kept him for the rest of his days. Had to keep him away from all other dogs. But pit bulls were never bred to attack human beings. That was never the intention. Matter of fact, back then, if you stuck your hand between two fighting pits, if you got bit, they would put down the one that bit you because you should be able to do that and not get hurt. Again, not into dog fighting. This is just the history, unfortunately. All right, so let's get back to the commands. The most important command that you can have is the emergency recall. This can be any word, but it should be a word you hardly ever use for anything. The emergency recall is when you have to have your dog come back to you now. For example, A car's coming and he doesn't see it and he was heading out into the street. It's basically to help keep your dog out of danger. This is the most important thing you can teach him. And this is the one time when I think treats are acceptable. When you use the emergency recall word, once he's learned it, super amounts of praise and affection and love. If you have a treat, yes, add that. This is the most important thing he needs to know, is he has to come on that word. It's a word you share with the family. It's a word that other people are not likely to use. Eureka might be one. Brilliant might be another, just because that's a word that's used more in England than here in the States. So it could even be a made-up word. So that is the most important thing you can do. Teach your dog the emergency recall. Now, the basic commands, the most basic and most important commands are sit, stay, stop, or no, same purpose, quiet, which is different than no, down, and heel. Always use the same words. Sit down is not sit. Sit is sit. Down is down. Don't confuse them. That will confuse the dog. You have to keep it simple. It's always sit or stay or no or quiet or down, but not sit down. I'm sure you can see the point I'm making there. Secondary commands that would be good, that are good, are belly, show belly. That's to remind the dog that you're the alpha. When the dog gives you his belly or his neck, he's acknowledging that you're in charge. Off, up, fetch. Now, fetch is not a trick. Fetch is a training. It gives the dog a job to do. And very often you'll find it can be useful for you as well. And also drop it. Now, a dog can learn up to 50, 60 basic simple commands, depending on the dog. They're not all the same. For example, Labrador Retrievers, beautiful, wonderful dogs, love them. However, they are mentally a puppy for 3 years. They could be full grown, 100 pounds, full size, and still have a puppy mindset. Makes a difference in the training and how you work with the dog. Other dogs, like the Malinois we just spoke of before, they mature mentally very quickly. Another thing I want to mention is never, if you're giving a negative command, never start with the dog's name, because you always want the dog to come to you when you say come, when you call your dog by name or come. So it's no, Rufus. Stop, Rufus. The other way, the other side of it, the positive is, come, Rufus, come. I'm sure you see the difference. You always want to start with the negative word first, not the name, when you're giving a stop command, a negative command. You always want to start with the dog's name when it's a positive command. This ensures that the dog is going to come to you quicker. Now, people have asked me, how firm could they be with a dog? Sometimes you have to be firm, just like with a child, but never, ever abusive. Sometimes there's times that you have to sit your child down and make that child stay there, just hold on to him. You may have to do the same with the dog. But you never hit. You are never too hard with the hands. You never cause pain, ever. That is not training, that's abuse. Ways to teach your dogs things that are interesting tricks. Keep an eye on what your dog does naturally. Most tricks are taught by following what the dog does naturally and then building on that. For example, you may have seen dancing dogs on TV. People have noticed their dog will get up on its hind legs, and then they'll build on that to get the dog to stay up, to twirl. This is how you teach various tricks. Okay, let me see if you have no other questions at the moment. Okay. Yelena, on your rat terrier, if you want to email me at joseph@unleashthedogtrainerwithinyou.com. My website is being rebuilt right now. It's under new construction, so all of you can go there in a day or two, and I will also create a Facebook page. But my show will always be here. But Elaine, if you want to write to me, Joseph at unleashthedogtrainerwithin.com. I will discuss the matter about your rat terrier, and give me more information, because the more information I have, the better I can help you. All right, now, dog crates. You want to keep the dog. There you go. You want to keep the dog crate as something that is seen as a friendly thing. In other words, it's not just something you put the dog in when you're going to the vet. I believe everybody should have a dog crate, and the dog should be fed and watered either in front of the crate or in the crate. Its bed should be in there. So basically, the dog shouldn't feel like it's being punished when it's being put in the crate. It should see it as its den within your home. This will make it easier and create a lot less anxiety anytime that you're taking the dog out. I'm having a technical difficulty on my end here. Okay, so dog crates are excellent. Wonderful for socialization. Start your dog at home with other people, with a couple other dogs that you know, with friends, before going to the dog park with a new dog, unless it's a puppy. But if you've got a grown dog, start at home, have a couple friends who have dogs come over, or find someone at the dog park who might be willing. Check your dog out with one or two dogs in your own yard, if you have a yard. Then go to the dog park. Now you might be thinking, well, hey, I can go to the dog park, keep my dog on a leash in the beginning. You can do that. The problem is that other dogs will see that, and some dogs will take that the wrong way. If you keep your dog on a leash, it could actually create a situation at the dog park. It's better that your dog be able to run and be released. Also, your dog breed bulldogs, English bulldogs, for example. My connection is weak. We might get disconnected. It's saying English bulldogs. They breathe noisily because of the nature of their nose, of their snout. And what happens is certain other dogs will hear that breathing and think they're being growled at. They will take it as if it's a threat being made at them. So this is another distinction between different dog breeds that you need to be aware of. Something else involving with dog training is other people. Other people train your dog whether you want them to or not. So you have to be aware. If you meet somebody and they think they can just walk up and just pet your dog, tell them no. Even if it's okay, they need to ask first if they can reach out and pet your dog. If you ever see them up, no. That's up to you to choose if the dog can jump up or not. They should never institute that. If you allow other people to pet your dog, which is fine, nothing's wrong with that, it needs to be petting on the head and the back. If they want the dog to do anything like jump up, they have to ask you. Not fixed yet. She wants my attention. She jumps and slams me. Are you going to stop yet? Yes, it doesn't matter about the size of the dog. Of course, the bigger the dog that's jumping up on you and slamming you, the more difficult it is. But yeah, it doesn't matter. The dog should not do that. 10-month-old Chinese crested. She's still a puppy. I'm curious to know a little bit more about her background. If you adopted her directly after weaning, or if you got her from somewhere like a humane. Cynthia, if you want to write to me and give me a little more information, and I'll write back and/or address it on the next show. Joseph at unleashthedogtrainerwithin.com. Yeah, part of answering questions sometimes is knowing the background of the dog. Again, like children. A child that came from an abusive home or a crowded home is going to act different than a child that came out of a loving home. So knowing the background situation is a big part of training your dog. Oh, you got her from the breeder. Okay, that's good. That's wonderful. All right. I would start with distracting her. When she's doing that, give her something else to focus our attention on. Not a treat, not like a reward, but like a playing thing where she's playing with a toy or something like that. Start there. Redirect that energy elsewhere. And then we can build on it from there. And please get back to me again next episode, or write to me, Cynthia. All right. I thank everybody. We're down to the last few minutes of the show. I look forward to seeing all of you next this Wednesday. It'll be my next show, Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific, which is 9 p.m. Eastern. And I look forward to seeing and meeting all of you on here. And please tell all your friends. Thank you so much. Unleash the dog trainer within. You can.